girl gonna save the world. Green girl gonna save the world. She's green girl gonna save the world. Green girl gonna save the world.
Hi, I'm Rachel, also known as Green Girl. Today we're going to talk about something that we couldn't live without: trees. They give us food, clean air, building materials, and beautiful landscapes. We even invite them into our homes for the holidays. Let's find out more about these awesome plants. You probably know that you can tell how old a cross-section of a tree is by counting the rings, but did you know that these rings can tell you more about the tree's life? If a ring is thick, that means it got a lot of rain that year, and if it is thin, it was a dry year. You might also see a scar from a fire or lightning strike too. The center ring is the first year of growth, and the outer ring is the last year. I counted the rings on this tree, and it was 104 years old, but some of the oldest trees in the world have lived for over 1,000 years. That's a lot of rings.
In the summer, trees are full of their leaves. That makes it perfect for relaxing in the shade on a hot summer day.
In the fall, trees' leaves start to die, changing color and falling to the ground. The tree might not provide shade anymore, but it looks beautiful and it's lots of fun jumping in a pile of leaves. In the winter, trees are cold and bare. They may look dead, but are definitely still alive, just waiting to burst into life again in the spring. In the spring, signs of life reappear in trees as buds form in the branches. These buds will eventually open up to grow new leaves. The cycle of the tree starts all over again. Here's a safe way to see the parts of a tree close up without having to climb to the top. This tree fell down, so I can see where the top branches are. The thickest part of the tree is here, the trunk. And down at the bottom are the roots. You can see how they extended down into the dirt to help bring water and nutrients up into the tree to help it grow. The roots also help anchor the tree in the soil, keeping it straight and stable. Trees can fall from the combination of the heavy rain softening the soil and strong winds knocking the tree down. Sometimes the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Coniferous trees are trees that have needles for leaves and grow cones like these. Some people would call all these pine cones, but only two of them are. This one is from a digger pine tree, and this one is from a sugar pine tree. But this one is from a giant sequoia, which is a redwood tree. The seeds from this little cone can grow into some of the largest trees on Earth. I guess it's true that big things can come from small packages. Here's a cool experiment you can do at home that models how water absorbed in the roots of a tree travels all the way up to its leaves. All you need is some celery, food coloring, and water. I mix 10 drops of red and 10 drops of blue into each of these glasses of water. Have an adult help you cut a bit off the bottom of the celery and then split the stalk in two. Place the two sides of the stalk in different colors. Red and blue seem to work the best. Put it in a safe place and let it sit for a couple days. Here's one that I did a few days ago. See how on this side leaves have a reddish color, and on this side you can see blue. That's because the celery stalk drew the water all the way up to the leaves, just like a tree carries water all the way up to their leaves. Pretty cool. When a tree falls down, it's returning to Earth in more than one way. While it depends on the tree and the environment, it usually takes a tree decades or even over 100 years to decompose back into dirt. You can tell this tree has been laying here for a while, since it is in its final stage of decomposition. What caused this to happen is that the tree has been eaten away by fungi and bacteria. Anyone have any hand sanitizer? Sometimes trees will grow around objects or even absorb them. Look how this tree is absorbing the sign that's been hanging on it for years. You can't even read what it says anymore. Eventually, it may totally swallow the whole sign. Trees always grow towards sunlight, so sometimes they grow around whatever's in the way. I guess man-made things are no match for a tree. Well, except maybe a chainsaw. Here I am in Vermont, which is nicknamed the Green Mountain State. Could you imagine it without trees? The Brown Mountain State doesn't sound as good, does it? Another thing that trees give us is maple syrup. Maple trees can be tapped in late winter to collect maple sap, which can be processed into maple syrup. This store in Vermont specializes in selling maple syrup products. Yum! Fall isn't the only season when trees are colorful. In the spring, some trees have brightly colored flowers like these pink blossoms. And even new buds on trees can be colorful, like the light green buds on that maple tree. If we didn't have trees, we wouldn't have wood. Can you imagine a world without wood? I guess we should take care of trees so they can continue to take care of us. Trees aren't only important to us, they're also important to animals. Many animals make their homes in trees and depend on them for shelter and protection from predators. Just in our yard alone, we've seen bird nests and squirrel nests in trees. Even after trees die, they can still provide homes for animals with their holes or hollowed-out trunks. In the Amazon rainforest, some animals spend their entire lives in the trees, never touching the ground. Amazing! Even after a tree's not living, it still keeps on giving. These stumps provide a perfect place to sit after a long hike in the woods. You've probably noticed that different types of trees have different types of bark. This tree has papery bark, while this tree has much thicker, rough bark. Bark is important to a tree because it helps protect the tree and keep it alive. While most trees live for a long time, there are things that can cut the life of a tree short. The three main enemies of trees are fire, insects, and disease. Millions of acres of trees burn every year because of humans being careless with fire. A lot of these fires could easily be prevented. Visit SmokeyBear.com for tips on how to prevent forest fires from ever happening. You wouldn't think that a little insect could be the enemy of a tree. The insects kill about 5 times as many trees a year than fire does. When an insect is in its larva stage, it can eat the leaves, needles, seeds, bore holes into the bark, and eat the insides of the tree. A recent example of this is the emerald ash borer. It came from Asia in 2002 and has been spreading across the United States. The larva of this beetle bores into the ash tree and prevents it from storing water and nutrients, killing the tree from the top down. It has killed 70 million ash trees and may kill all 8 billion ash trees in the U.S. over the next 20 years. Experts are working on ways to prevent this from happening. Disease is also a serious enemy of a tree, killing more trees than fire and insects combined. Most of these are in the form of a fungus that can attack a tree in the roots, trunk, or branches. If a tree is a disease, it doesn't look healthy. Some signs might be sections of the tree that turn brown, oozing sap from the bark, or a fungus growing from the side of the tree. Trees sometimes need to be removed or sprayed to prevent the diseases from spreading. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Green Girl. Hopefully you know a little more about trees than you did before and are more aware of how important they are in our lives. Join me next time for another episode of Green Girl. Bye!